Dear listeners, marketing isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things. Focus on understanding your customers and crafting strategies that truly connect with them.
In order to get your marketing foundations right,
Mhm.
you have to fix your presence on Google, number one.
AI, it's not just about taking away jobs, but it's about how AI can be of potential use to you and it can enhance what you're already doing.
Figure out your sales, and if you can get clients reliably, systematically, most of your problems are solved.
Hello and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Kripa Anand, and today's guest is Muhammad Abbas, founder and CEO of Purpose Path. He shares insights on blending art and science in marketing, choosing the right channels, and leveraging AI to drive growth. Muhammad Abbas is the founder and CEO of Purpose Path, a marketing agency known for its no BS marketing ethos. With a degree in economics and finance, specializing in behavioral economics, Muhammad combines analytical expertise with creative marketing strategies to drive real life results. Over the years, he has worked with over 150 businesses, delivering impactful campaigns tailored to their growth stages. So now, let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the show, Muhammad. How are you doing today?
I am excellent. It is a pleasure to be here. Firstly, that's a very flattering intro. Thank you so much. I today I am genuinely excited to have this conversation and share insights from my experience that can really benefit the small and medium-sized business community.
Definitely, each word that I said, it's true about you. So now, mixing the art and science in marketing, how important is it for you? And then please go on and explain how important is it for small businesses to adapt this in their strategies when they're brainstorming for marketing.
For sure, I think a an excellent marketing strategy has two elements to it. There's the art
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the science. And let me elaborate on those. So the art is the pretty pictures, the words we use, the design on the website. It's the emotional connection that we build with our audiences through those avenues. Um, the other side is the science. It's the numbers. It's the knowing the metrics that contribute to your top line revenue.
Right.
They are very specific. They're matter of fact, black and white, whereas the art is subjective. And I think finding a balance between the two, between the art and science, is what contributes to a really effective marketing strategy. What I've found is that working with small businesses, there's some common mistakes that are apparent. Number one, some businesses tend to either focus on all art and no science.
Right.
They just focus on the design, making social media posts,
Right.
and they don't really have an
How to be
idea.
visually appealing is what they care about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for some brands it matters, but for the majority of businesses, there needs to be a balance. So this disproportionate focus on just making things look pretty and a lack of attention to the numbers and
Right.
the metrics that drive a marketing engine, that holds back a business. Whereas on the other side, I see businesses that are heavily focused on just the science of marketing, where they're doing offers, they're just optimizing for conversion. The problem with those businesses
Their
that they
aesthetics are off.
exactly the
Right.
aesthetics are off,
Yeah.
and they don't build a business that's sustainable, and they're at the mercy of algorithms and ad platforms. And so I think it's fundamental to any strong marketing strategy that they have the right balance between art and science of marketing.
Right, wonderfully explained. So now, on top of your mind, can you think of a real life campaign where this balance was used and the results were mind blowing?
Absolutely. So we worked with a co-working space. They're one of the largest ones in the Greater Toronto area. Um, when they came to us, they wanted to promote their office spaces, and I think the first step was understanding who the customers were. And
Right.
when we did some digging and we understood what the customers' needs were, we saw that the competitive landscape was where the competition was promoting open spaces, collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of mindset. Whereas the customers, the end market really needed a place where they could work, have deep focus and productivity.
Right.
And so I think that critical element allowed us to position the client differently. And that, again, was a bit of the art of the marketing. And then once we had a foundational strategy to work with, then we used tactics like SEO, Google Ads, and Facebook Ads
Mm-hmm.
to send that message out to the target market. And it resonated exceptionally well. The client more than doubled their locations,
Wow.
and they more than doubled their revenue on other service lines within 24 months.
Wow. So it's a living proof that simplest of the things can drive big results, right?
Absolutely.
Dear listeners, marketing isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things. Focus on understanding your customers and crafting strategies that truly connect with them. Small, targeted efforts can lead to big results that you won't ever imagine. Now, let's talk about marketing budget because a lot of startups, a lot of entrepreneurs who've just started out their journey, they have constraints on their financial allocation where they cannot prioritize where to invest, right? So now, what strategies would you recommend to them, who people who are low on their budget?
Excellent question. I think, firstly, I want to say it's also a matter of mindset. It's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness.
Right.
What can you do with what you have?
Wow, let me just digest that. It's not about resources, it's about being resourceful, right?
Exactly. So I think we're in a time where the access to resources, particularly around marketing, um, with the advent of AI and the advancement, we're seeing smaller businesses get access to resources that only the big players used to have. And
Right.
so, even before thinking about where to spend your marketing money,
Hmm.
you need to understand two or three fundamental questions. And once you have the answer, the marketing channel and the budget allocation becomes pretty obvious. So I think number one, you have to understand who your customers are. You have to understand their demographics and, more importantly, their psychographics. What is it that drives them? What is it that is keeping them up at night?
Hits their nerve, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's their pain point? I think identifying that is one of the biggest foundational steps. Once you identify that, you have to then create an offer that resonates with that particular pain point and positions you differently from the competitors in the industry.
Provides a solution to your problem, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And then another fundamental and really underrated aspect of a marketing engine is understanding your customer acquisition cost
Mm-hmm.
and your lifetime value of a customer. And here's what it means: if you understand how much you can make from a customer over their lifetime with you, then the answer to how much you can spend to acquire a customer becomes much more clear.
It's how much return on the investment that you can get in the future, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And then you need to find out, for cash strapped businesses particularly, what you need to do is find the channel that yields the fastest cash flow return, whether it's Google Ads or Facebook Ads or any other platform. It's just a matter of identifying which one yields the fastest return in terms of revenue and then reinvesting the cash back into the marketing engine.
Wow, those were pretty powerful insights. Now, that brings me to my next question. Now, in this world, there's a lot of competition, right? Now, what can small businesses do specifically to set themselves apart from their competitors? Some, like, just if you can just point out five quick things in which there's no heavy investment that's required.
For sure. I think in order to get your marketing foundations right,
Hmm.
you have to fix your presence on Google. Number one, everybody is Googling for
Right.
solutions to their problems. And so if you just fix your reviews, if you set up your Google business profile, and even do the most basic of SEO, you'll start to show up to your target market.
It gives legitimacy, right?
Exactly.
Right.
The second thing is, again, understanding your customer acquisition costs.
Hmm.
I go back to this again and again because it opens avenues for you to explore. It opens your mind to other creative actions that you can take
Right.
in order to acquire new customers. And in that is things that like referral partnerships,
Hmm.
right? Particularly for B2B businesses, um, there are a lot of industries, a lot of companies that have access to your target market that aren't your competitors,
Right.
right? And so just building a referral partnership with those guys can actually transform your business overnight. So it's a matter of being strategic in the partnerships you build, in your basic presence, that can make all the difference.
Right. So, in your opinion, what are the top three challenges that you think small businesses face while thinking about their marketing strategies? Is it the implementation part where they're doing wrong? Is it the thinking part where they go wrong? What is the biggest challenge according to you?
I think the biggest challenge when it comes to small business marketing is finding the balance of art and science. Again,
Right.
it's that people don't understand how to where to invest their
Mm-hmm.
money, firstly, whether it's in the social media post, or
Yeah.
whether it's in a website, or whether it's in ads,
Right.
right? So we see a lot of failures happening because people just don't know where to put the money and how to build a strategy. I think finding the right marketing partner, whether it's an agency, whether it's someone you hire in-house,
Right.
can, or even learning marketing on your own and doing it, I think that is the simplest step. Again, it comes down to resourcefulness. Like, there's a lot of businesses that grow fast, and we've seen trends where marketing is becoming a bigger and bigger part of the contributor to business success, simply because the world is more of a digital place than ever before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Access to resources is not a challenge
It's
anymore.
faster, it's easier. All the information is so much faster at your fingertips that it's shaping the entire future, and I think it's changing everything. Like it's not just I think the conversation around AI, it's not just about taking away jobs, but it's about how AI can be of potential use to you, and it can enhance what you're already doing.
Absolutely. You know, you mentioned AI. I think this is the greatest time to be a business owner,
Right.
because what AI has effectively done, it's increased the baseline level
Yeah.
of output. So you won't see terrible writing anymore.
Right.
You won't see terrible artwork anymore. But what that does is, by raising the default, there's a sea of sameness that exists,
Yeah.
and people have a built-in BS detector where they can see this is AI. And so the businesses that will truly stand out are the ones who can form a human connection by leveraging online platforms.
Wow, I think it's about going back and thinking how important human connection is. And in this day of digital era and AI taking over everything, we should not forget our roots and just being human. I think that changes everything.
I agree completely.
Right. So now, just quickly, for all the business people, business owners, or startup people, or the young entrepreneurs who are listening to you, what is that one advice that you'd like to give to them in regards to their marketing, where they are going wrong?
There's two things I want to say.
Right.
Number one, resourcefulness, not resources. You can always do more with less, especially if you're starting up. You have to be scrappy.
Right.
And number two, and I think this is more relevant to the times today, you know, when economic times are tough, people will become conservative. Uh, the matter of fact is that this is actually the time to become more aggressive, right? Because that everybody is taking a step back. If you become more aggressive in your customer acquisition, in the way you market and talk to your clients,
Right.
what that does is it gives you a head start. And so when the economy does pick up, and it always does, you have a a significant head start over your competitors in the race to leading the market. And so I think, again, being resourceful
Right.
and being aggressive in a downturn economy are counterintuitive, but actually yield the best results.
Right. Now let's talk about being relevant. So personally, how important do you think being relevant is? And do you consider yourself relevant? Yes or no?
um,
It's a yes or no question.
I think
Yeah.
it's a yes or no question, but I think it has like a sort of philosophical side to it.
Okay.
Um, for me personally,
Yeah.
um, I there's this saying that, you know, would you rather be famous and broke, or rich and not
Right.
famous?
Right. Right.
I would be the latter. I would be rich and not famous.
Right.
Um, I think, with that said, um, there we are in a time where personal brand is coming to a stage where it's being monetized. You look at people like Logan
Hmm.
Paul, Mr. Beast, they built a large audience. And now what you're seeing them is launch uh, uh, venture into food brands,
Right.
into brands that are the direct goods that their target market consumes,
Hmm.
and so you see them monetize their audience. So the question really is that, if you are building a brand and if you are relevant, then if you can monetize it well, then I think that's the game these days. So being relevant, yes, but if you can monetize it and do it in a way, that you're happy with the way you're doing it.
That's the same advice you like to give to all the business people as well, like all the small businesses. Staying how important do you think staying relevant in marketing is?
A good question. I think your competitors are always actively marketing.
Right.
They are actively trying out new strategies. They are constantly promoting themselves. So by default, it's a race. So if you don't do anything, you're by default losing. So there needs to be a strategy. There needs to be a marketing plan to reach your target customer. You can't just sit on your laurels and do nothing. It is really important to have that um, brand awareness strategy in conjunction with a conversion strategy when it comes to dealing with your target market.
Right. For all the listeners, do you have any quick tips on how they can leverage the use of AI in real life, in real time? What prompts can they give, or what AI tools can they use? There's so many tools available right now for better marketing strategies where they're not spending too much on salaries and everything. For example, if I'm an entrepreneur, if I've just started my own business, I'll not hire someone for marketing. I'll try to do it myself. And
Mhm.
now with AI being just there out there, how can I use it to my best capability?
I believe an underrated part of AI
Hmm.
is actually automations. And you have to think about the challenge that small and medium sized business owners face is that they are mostly time constrained.
Right.
And oftentimes you'll see is they're constrained by menial administrative tasks.
Hmm.
And so by automating those tasks with AI, um, they can gain back a lot of their time.
Right.
And when they have time, then they can get creative with their marketing. They can try out new things. But I think there's tools like Zapier.
Hmm.
There's tools within GPT that you can use to automate a lot of processes. So automations is actually very underrated, and done right can save business owners tens of hours a week.
Definitely. So it's about delegating the work that is not that important so that you can focus on things that actually matter, like
Exactly.
strategy.
Well put.
Right. So, to our listeners, remember that every business starts small, but persistence, strategic thinking, and adaptability can drive extraordinary growth. Keep going even when it's tough.
Hey, you think you know UPS? Yeah, that's us. Everybody knows that. You know what you didn't know? This. Okay, try to keep up. Ocean, us. Ground, rail, air, so us. Guess who? Us. Customs cleared, borders cleared, done. Us. You still with me? Wait for it. Boom. Us. Intelligent, automated, fulfillment. Us. Yep. Healthcare too. Digital your thing? Yeah. Well, book it, ship it, track it. You feeling me yet? Yep. That's all us. That's all UPS.
Four billion people check their email every day. That's 4 billion missed opportunities if your message doesn't make it. To reach your customer's inbox, you need a winning strategy. And Constant Contact delivers. Literally, over 97% deliverability. Elevate your email game with easy-to-use templates, writing assistance powered by AI, and in-depth metrics. Ensuring your email is flawless, delivered, and read. Constant Contact delivers. Give it a try.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, we're in the business of you.
We're here to help you plug in.
connect, and recharge.
Make an impression.
And meet with confidence.
With 19 brands built for business,
your business gets even more rewarding.
With an award-winning loyalty program at 6,000 IHG hotels and resorts worldwide.
We'll take a short break here. Stay tuned as we uncover Muhammad's most impactful business lessons after the break. Now, let's talk about your journey as an entrepreneur, your journey as a person, and how you've transformed your own self throughout the years. Where did it all start from? Did you always wanted to be a businessman? What do you want to become?
My dad is an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
quite successful. And my education started actually when I was this high, this tall, a young boy.
Mhm.
And he would just sit with his business owner friends, and they just talk business all day, right? And he would just be like, go sit in that corner, just listen. And so that like 5 or 10 years of education with those highly successful people is what really set me up for entrepreneurship and created that spark. So it's something I truly enjoy, is solving problems and getting paid for it.
Wow. So basically, you absorbed all the knowledge that your father and the friends had to give, and then you used it in your real life.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. Now, let's talk about your path from corporate finance to launching Purpose Path. It's very inspiring. How did you get into it?
Right out of university, I landed a job in corporate finance, and it was actually a really lucrative position.
Mhm.
People work up their entire career to that position. And so I was super happy to land it. And then, a year goes by and you find yourself doing the same thing over and over again.
It was repetitive.
Exactly. And there was really, of course, I would have made good money there too. But then it comes down to your purpose, right? Like,
Right.
how are you going to make a dent in the world? And so for me, the decision became obvious that, hey, it's it sounds cheesy, but it's only one life. You got to jump. So I started Purpose Path, got my first client, and then the pandemic hit.
Wow.
Uh, and so, lost that client. And then over the course of the pandemic, I spent 10 hours a day studying, learning marketing, read over 200 books within that year.
Really?
Yes, on one of those books that you have right there, I read that one as well. And so what it gave me was a lot of knowledge that empowered me to then go and talk to my clients and solve real business problems for them and then grow our business.
Wow, that's very inspiring, truly. And
Thank you.
I'm sure there must be some difficult lessons also that you might have learned throughout this journey, right? If you could just highlight.
Well, I'll tell you the sort of outcome that I learned from the
Mhm.
challenge I faced. Sales is the cure all to most business problems.
Yes.
If you can figure out your sales and if you can get clients reliably, systematically, most of your problems are solved. You can go on and hire people to replace you. You can go on to do tons of things. So sales and then cash flow planning. If your cash flows are good
Hmm.
and your sales engine is working,
Right.
then you can take strategic decisions rather than putting in sweat equity. You can then become strategic about it. But so I think one of the first core problems any business owner should solve
Right.
is figuring out that sales engine and how it can repeatedly, reliably deliver customers to you.
That's so true and so practical as well because, yeah, if you think about it, sales, it drives every single business on this planet. Welcome back, listeners. Let's dive into the lessons Muhammad has learned on his entrepreneurial journey and what small business owners can take away from his experiences. Now, let's talk about resilience. What would you recommend to small business owners? How do they cultivate resilience, especially when the times are uncertain?
Hmm. You just have to have a deep underlying belief,
Faith.
faith,
Right.
and something greater than yourself that drives
Right.
you. Um, because you have to have you when you're going through the business journey, you'll have yourself, and then you'll have to come up with challenges,
Right.
right? And so if your belief is stronger, it'll go through those challenges. But if you don't have a belief in yourself, in the work that you do every day, don't even bother. right? So that's step one. Step two is having a strong network. Cultivating a group of people who are going through the same thing can actually save you years of trying to solve the same problem with just a conversation. A conversation with someone who's going through the same problem and
Right.
has solved it can actually help you leapfrog that problem and get the advantage of that person's struggle. So I think those two things are critically important.
Nice. So, for all the people who are listening this word for the first time, quick win. Could you please quickly explain to them what does it mean?
In any business, there is always low-hanging fruit that a business owner doesn't see
Right.
because they're so involved in their business. And so it can simply be a matter of upselling specific clients,
Right.
building long-term partnerships with referral partners, where you don't have to spend extra money.
Right. You can use the resources that you already have and make the best out of it.
Exactly. And it's, again, it comes back to understanding the equation of your customer acquisition is, if you can sell more to the same customer,
Right.
or if you can sell it for a higher price to the same customer, or you can add more value to the existing product and increase the price there, right? Those are like simple tactics that exist that can be used by any business owner. So
Right.
that's what I mean when I say quick wins.
Right. That's very intelligent of you to say that. Now, before we wrap this conversation, what is that one piece of advice you'd like for everyone to keep it in their heart and remember you whenever they implement that in their life?
I think this is the greatest time to be alive and to be a business owner. The advent of AI has opened up so many possibilities.
Right.
Industries and jobs will be destroyed, and new industries and jobs will be created overnight.
It has blurred the boundaries, I would say, right?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's blurred the boundaries of what's possible, right?
Right.
Because AI is a technology that's advancing every day. You combine that with other technologies that are coming up, like robotics,
Right.
and the possibilities for innovation within a business and the value that a business can provide are effectively endless. And so the business owners that will succeed, the business owners of tomorrow that will succeed, are the ones who are the quickest to adapt,
Right.
and not the ones who lag behind and delay adoption to technology.
Change
So
is the only constant, right?
exactly, well
Right.
said. I think you summarized that well. Change is the only constant
Right.
when it comes to business, and greatest time to be alive right now.
All right, that was some wonderful advice. Thank you so very much, Muhammad, for all of this conversation. And I'm sure the listeners enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you so very much.
It's a pleasure. I have to say you're a great host, and I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. In today's episode, we explored the art and science of marketing, budget allocation strategies, AI's impact on marketing, lessons from Muhammad's journey, and practical quick wins for small businesses. A special thank you to our partners RBC, UPS, Constant Contact, IHG Hotels and Resorts, and Google for supporting Canadian entrepreneurs. To all of our listeners, visit CanadianSME.ca to subscribe to the Canadian SME Small Business Magazine for more such insightful content and updates. This is your host, Kripa Anand, signing off. See you in the next episode.